drink. The show you're about to watch might just stink. To turn off a show is a crime because it's action time.
It's action time. It's action time.
Yeah.
Hey everyone, it's action time!
Action time.
Metal edition.
Metal.
More
Glam
specific,
Squad.
Glam Squad.
Glam Squad. Or
And
better
you guys
known
are in
now,
the land of glam.
Yes, we are.
Land of Glam.
Better known now as hair metal.
Hair metal.
Hair metal. You know,
That's
big
right.
puffy hair hanging down to your midsection, all the way in the back. and it's
Flammable hair because of all the
flammable, you know,
Aquanet.
keep the people, well away from open flame and
All the guys
any
stealing their
pyrotechnics.
mother's makeup kit,
Well, who
and their
didn't do that?
spandex. Yeah. Oh, you didn't do that?
No, I'm saying maybe I did. Because
okay.
I had some
Fun
influences. Fun fact. I went through a phase.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I wasn't even listening to glam rock then.
Hey, yeah.
Anyways.
So we have a couple of bands that we're going to talk about because glam we could do
You could go
4
on
hours on
for
that
so
whole
long,
subject because there's so many different bands and
So we're
a lot
just
of them
gonna
came out of
name
like
the
the
big
LA
ones.
music scene early on. Sunset Strip and what have you in the mid '80s was really just rife with all kinds of really cool and grateful, interesting bands. Faster
The decade of
Pussycat.
decadence.
I bet you didn't know that one. Yeah.
I do know that one.
He brought Faster Pussycat with him. My hometown, beautiful downtown Burbank, California, where we do a lot of stuff, is kind of famous for having 2 major bands come out of it. Well, 1.5, because he kind of joined up. Quiet Riot started at my local junior high school.
No way.
And yeah, I'm kind of. It's kind of like a talking point. I really do like that talking point that they got started here. And
Did they have a plaque at that high school?
They should. I don't know why they don't. They're goofy. Whatever. But also coming out of my junior high school at that point was the famous Randy Rhoads. Many of you may know Randy from his time on Crazy Train with Ozzy Osbourne.
Mr. Ozzy Osbourne.
Mr. Ozzy Osbourne, who we could dedicate for 14,000 episodes to. The man's just he's a phenomenon from Black Sabbath all the way through. But Quiet Riot got their start in my hometown. They were kind of.
That's right. He was in Quiet Riot.
He was at both of them. He was there for a little bit and then moved on after Ozzy kind of heard them play. And Ozzy snatched him up and put him on tour, and then unfortunate events later on down the road. Like we were talking about Quiet Riot, and those guys, that voice from their lead singer.
Kevin DeBro. Yeah.
Kevin DeBro, yeah. He's got one of, I don't know what it is about these metal guys. They've got some of the most unique sounding voices to come out of music in a long, long time. A lot of these guys, these guys took music training, and like Randy, his mom was a music teacher. So if he wanted to continue to play guitar, he had to get really good grades. He was very smart, along with the fact that this guy could just shred on a guitar all day long. Fabulous band. And then later on, you get into Mötley Crüe.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Mötley Crüe.
Mötley Crüe was the first concert I ever went to.
Mötley Crüe.
On the Dr.
Those boys.
Feelgood tour. That was the first. So that's they hold a special place.
All right. Yeah, I actually started listening to them just a little before that. Their previous album was that was one that every mother tried to keep their keys away from. Yeah, girls, and even before that, Shout at the Devil. That was like every parent's worst nightmare. They're young impressionable teens listening to this hardcore satanistic band, and we're all looking at them like, have you met them? Like,
and that's another album that started out with like a really ominous intro.
Yeah,
where it sounded like you were in the depths of hell.
Yeah. Just you felt brutalized. You felt brutalized.
They could have had like Vincent Price narrate it.
Oh my god, just crazy stuff. Faster Pussycat was another one that was down in the Sunset Strip area. I never really got into them. My current wife heard them a couple of times when they were on the Sunset Strip, and
I had like one of their tapes. I liked them, but after a while, it's just like okay, they just kind of sounded like a lot of the other groups.
Yeah, they came
like in the second or third wave of.
Yeah, they weren't like part of the first wave. They were just kind of picked up off like where Mötley Crüe was.
I mean, honestly, if you want to think about it, I mean, those bands weren't even the first glam metal band. You got bands like New York Dolls who were more.
Oh, absolutely.
Kind of started glam metal.
Yeah, they
Slade.
Slade.
Yeah.
Not another one of the few that I just didn't personally care for. Who else was over here in LA at the time? Rat. That dude.
Hence the beginning of bands naming their, bands after animals.
After animals, yeah.
Animals.
Yeah,
After that, you got like White Lion.
Yeah.
One of the guys wanted it to be named Mouse, and then can we do Rat?
Well,
okay.
Rat's better.
Actually,
can we do two T's? Okay.
Actually, the singer Stephen Piercy's first band was called Mickey Rat, and they ended up just shortening it to Rat.
Bring it back. Yeah.
So I don't know if that was like a Disney reference.
Who knows? We're trying to keep Disney out of it as much as we can. But
it's like, Disney's going to sue us, so we should just go with Rat.
We'll just go with Rat, yeah. Because anything Mickey, Disney comes down like a ton of bricks. Who else was around at that point?
Poison, come on.
Oh, you can't forget Poison. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Where you don't know if they're men or women.
Yeah.
Like their first pictures, they're like, should I be attracted to them? No.
Those pants are so tight. They're so tight.
They're wearing more makeup than my mom.
And they're married. What am I looking at? Yeah, but I mean, they had those guys had some problems internally. After a while, they had drug abuse problems and and internal band fights because they all wanted to share each other's Aquanet.
Brett Michaels had some cancer scare or something like that, I think too.
He had a cancer scare. He was also labeled. I think he
diabetic.
Found out he was diabetic. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, he was type 1, and
he's actually bald. I think, isn't he?
He is now. I mean, thanks to all that
massive amounts of
lotion hairspray that they were wearing. That's why he wears that do-rag.
Yeah.
He's hiding that bald spot that starts from his eyebrows and goes to the back of his ears.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's not as glamorous as you think, ladies.
I've got
still a nice guy, though.
To bring up here.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay,
here we go.
So I loved the music videos for these were always pretty fun. There's a particular actor who's playing his usual character, of course. What's this? Defacing a defenseless textbook? Twisted sister? Young man, what do you want to do with your life? Boom! I mean, those videos
not
were
from the LA scene, but still
a great band.
Yeah.
Dee Snider is
what a character.
He is a character, that's for sure.
It's cool how he's still involved in stuff, and he stays pretty active, and most of those guys just kind of faded into obscurity.
Yeah.
There's still some bands around going. You got like White Snakes. They're still going.
Yeah, they're still
trying
going.
not to burn down establishments that they play at.
It's pretty much just David Coverdale. It's the original member, but I mean,
whatever.
I mean, that's Whitesnake pretty much.
Yeah. he was like, I am Whitesnake.
But he got involved with politics and stuff like that. Really fighting to keep the right to kind of say what you want in music. Protecting
fighting the PMRC.
First Amendment.
Yeah.
So that
for a little bit. I mean, I guess Guns N' Roses originally could be considered hair metal, but they later kind of grew out of it. They kind of became more like garage rock, almost like
classic garage rock. Yeah. Well, I mean, that first album that they had out, man, they had more hair than everybody else on Sunset Strip, and they were hated on the Sunset Strip. Really, they were absolutely hated.
Like Mötley Crüe, they brought them out on tours, I guess, like as favors, I guess.
Yeah, it was kind of like, hey, all right, come on, we're going to Arizona, come on, you can come too. But yeah,
but then they ended up like just being total dicks to him, and I guess one of the, I think Tommy Lee or something was dating or married to Heather Locklear at the time, and their guitarist like hit on her at like the MTV Music Awards.
That sounds like
started like a big beef between them.
That went on for years.
And like the singer Vince Neil wanted to like there was he like propositioned a fight with Axl Rose.
And Axl would just like no.
Yeah, because I think they even
no way. I think they were gonna fight.
I think they even did like a celebrity like death match. Like remember that show?
Yeah, I remember that show on MTV where they did the claymation fighting.
Yeah. I think they even like did like an episode on that that squabble.
That would be great. See that again. I might have to go back and see if I can find those.
But yeah, I mean, there was a lot of hate there.
Well, even just like the audience members at their various shows used to flick lit cigarettes at them, tell them to get off the stage. They hated this band for some reason, and yet there are people out there right now that'll tell you that Guns N' Roses is probably one of the best bands of all time.
Mm-hmm. So if you had to choose Mötley Crüe, Guns N' Roses, who do you pick?
Mötley Crüe.
Oh yeah, I choose Mötley Crüe too.
Just the shenanigans off stage with those guys is fun.
I just like their Mötley Crüe's music a lot better.
I do too. I like Vince's voice way better than I like Axl's. Axl's got
it's pretty unique.
A pretty unique voice, but he can't hit those notes anymore. Not like when he was in his early 20s. Now here we are 25 years later. He can't hit those notes.
But even
anymore.
still live, Vince Neil can't hit the notes.
Vince Neil's like way more dynamic than.
But I mean, if you go like the last time, their final tour, I saw them here in Tampa, and I mean, still. He's like out of breath. You can tell like he's out of shape right now.
Oh, absolutely. Not only that,
he's just like
sucking wind, and well, it's because he's 50 pounds overweight than when he started doing all this stuff. I mean, he probably weighs upwards of 200 and some odd pounds plus. Here I am disparaging the man, and he's probably a great guy. I have no idea. I've never met him personally. But as a singer, I enjoy his voice, but if it, like you said, if there's a choice between the two, I would definitely choose Mötley Crüe over Guns N' Roses. Absolutely.
Matt, who would you choose, Matthew?
Well, I actually just noticed trending on Twitter is Axl Rose is going to kill Sean.
Oh boy, here we go again.
Not again.
Like this hasn't happened before.
Well, that actually means more views for us because they'll be like,
that guy? What's he got a beef with Axl for? Why does Axl have a beef with him?
We gotta go check this video out now,
Yeah, I'm gonna find out what's going on. All right.
Good job,
so anyways,
Sean.
hey guys.
Yeah. Hey, things are looking up for me.
Glam.
You're gonna get in a beef with Axl.
Who hasn't?
Yeah.
I think everybody's had a beef with Axl at some point. I was really upset with them. I was upset with them when they came out with that huge double album.
Oh, Use Your Illusion.
Yeah, I was like, really?
Yeah.
Like, I really wanted them to continue with that kind of like that. Not really glam, but they kind of started getting into more of a heavier sound, and I really wanted them to continue with that. And then when they came out with Use Your Illusion, I was like, all right, I'm not buying any more of your crud. I'm sorry, guys.
It's not glam.
I had Appetite for Destruction, and that was it.
Yeah,
that's the only album.
That was the one that I really enjoyed, and I wanted them to continue making more of that era of music, that type of music. And then
Chinese
to go to Use Your Illusion, I was like,
and I'm just like,
this is like Van Halen light, man. This is like this is
there
not
you go.
what I want to do. It's
Van Halen
light.
They're another LA band.
Yeah, well,
Van
Halen. another one we can mention. It'd go on for hours on those guys, especially with like the early stuff with Dave. And Dave was a very, very dynamic frontman.
Oh yeah,
bouncing around all over the place. I mean, and of course, offstage, his antics were well known as well. He got into trouble here and there, and
like Dave was a showman.
Oh, he was very much a showman. Very, very much. He was very much into look at me, look at how well I can do. And
I mean, Sammy Hagar, he had a way better voice, but he didn't have the showmanship.
You know, I wasn't a fan of Sammy Hagar with Van Halen, even though he was with Van Halen longer than Dave was. I was never a fan of.
But I mean, he could never. I mean, they couldn't really sing each other's songs.
No, not at all.
No.
They had to almost start all over again with the brothers and
because it just. I mean, they probably did, but it just doesn't sound right.
No, not at all. No. It's a completely different sound between Van Halen with Dave versus Dan Halen with Sammy. And I was really upset when Dave was asked to leave the band, but I understood.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he was such a prima donna when he was part of Van Halen. Just, I mean, everything had to be about him, and the guys
band, they didn't get along at all.
No. Well, no, because Dave was such a prima donna. He everything had to be about him.
They even have like separate tour buses now.
Separate tour buses.
They had to record separately. They couldn't be at the studio.
Dave couldn't be in the
same
time. Yeah, Dave, because Dave had to go do something, or he was off doing. I mean, he was
someone.
Yeah, many times. Well, so when they
I think that's how he got kicked out. He was hitting on Eddie Van Halen's wife.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me.
No, seriously, he was hitting. He was hitting on Valerie Bertinelli. That was her name.
Yeah.
Fun fact.
Yeah. So
fun fact. Yeah. Yeah, he was a deep womanizer, and then when he started doing his own albums, I kind of drifted away from Van Halen because I liked Dave's voice, and he was entertaining, and as a young impressionable youth, that was cool because he had all the pretty girls on, and they were scantily clad, and I was a young impressionable youth at that point, and it was like, ooh, I like this. This is great, and
boobies,
legs, boobies, heels, woo. Yeah. But so Van Halen didn't have that. They started maturing more and getting into more adult themes, and not so much just like the flashy stuff that Dave liked to do. They wanted to do more interesting and dynamic stuff and go on tour and make more money, and as every band should.
Make commercials for Crystal Pepsi.
Too bad Jason's not here for his Crystal Pepsi.
Yeah.
Hey, buddy.
And then okay, they went and did that one album with Gary Cherone from Extreme.
Let's not mention that one.
Yeah, that one I just had to throw that in really quick.
Everybody's got to throw in Gary because it's Gary. But that's another one that just Gary wasn't because I think Sammy took off for a little while and had to go find himself in
he came back for a little bit and then he left and then they came back and
did another
Michael Anthony didn't want to be a part of it, or he wasn't asked or something. So who'd they get? They get Eddie's son to play bass.
And Eddie's son can actually play really well.
He can play bass, but he's just not Michael Anthony.
No, Michael Anthony needs to be back there, but
Michael Anthony also sang like the great backup. So it's
he did. He had a voice, and he could play. He could play, like the best of them.
Whale, man.
Good whale, man.
Good whale.
Yeah.
I'm gonna whale, man.
Well, hey guys, if we missed any of your favorite glam bands or hair metal bands, let us know in the comments down below. Tell us what
your
stupid
favorite,
stuff. Tell us your favorite stories.
Send us your angst mail.
Send us your angst mail, as Maddie put it. Yeah,
your Sean hate mail.
Yeah, because I know I'll get some. Hey, if you guys are listening and watching, and tell your favorite hair metal bands all about us, because I'm sure they'd enjoy to hear about how crappy their music was from various individuals. Anyway, we'll be back next week with some other episode that you'll enjoy. We have no idea what it's going to be yet, but it's probably going to be something to do with metal.
We've got it all written down right here.
Matt's got it.
Matt's going to lose it.
All right, guys.
where it's
All right,
at.
See you next week.
See you next
Bye
week.
for now.